Today I'll show you how I made these fence walls to go with your tabletop games using very low-cost materials. So to complete this craft, we're going to be using some craft sticks, which I've cut to 7 inches, and some smaller ones which are cut to 3.5 inches, as well as some textured foam bricks. Alright, to start things off, we're going to work with the 7-inch piece. I'm just going to do a quick mark in the center, and then we're going to start there and work our way out. Now, using some wood glue, I'm going to start by gluing a 15mm by 10mm brick directly in the center, and then work from there out towards either end. Now, I am going to use a couple of very small bricks to kind of help fill gaps. This little one is a 5mm wide, and then I'm going to use some 10mm bricks to kind of help fill the rest of the space in. Now, these are the ones that I'm using, and I made these for particular purposes. You can use whatever bricks you happen to have on hand or happen to make. Alright, so that's kind of how we're going to be laying it out. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Now, the reason I'm using wood glue is it is a very, very strong hold once it's done, but it has a little bit of give and flex to it, and it doesn't dry instantaneously, so we can take a moment to correct position or any mistakes that start to crop up. And then when we do a second layer, we're going to lay the glue across the entirety of the piece. This will help to kind of bind everything together and kind of help all the layers adhere and mesh together, almost as if we were using actual brick and mortar. Now, this wood glue I got from the Dollar Tree. It was a very convenient find. It dries in about 10 to 15 minutes for this application, since I'm not using a bunch of it. So for something like this, it works really, really nicely. Now, as I'm laying the bricks, I'm taking a moment to kind of stagger them so that it looks a little bit more like realistic brickwork. You don't necessarily have to do this, but it does make the overall build a little bit stronger and more durable. Once I'm at the height that I want, I'm going to use a smaller brick on the top of the 3 kind of support pieces to just give a little bit of a capstone. And then to decorate it, I'm going to use a bead and a hat pin to create a capstone ornament. Now, using a little drip of super glue, I'm just kind of sticking this together, giving it a moment to dry, and that's going to kind of become a little centerpiece that will kind of thread through the little support beams, or support columns, I should say. Now, using a little bit of wood glue, I'm going to drip it on the bottom of the bead and then stab the entire thing through the column, just to kind of reinforce everything and make sure everything is stable. Then, to kind of seal the project, I'm mixing a bit of Mod Podge with gray paint and giving it a very thorough mixing. This will help seal everything in, as well as kind of create a base coat paint layer. Now, I'm going to apply this on very heavy to kind of flow into all the cracks and make sure that everything is as rock solid as I can get it. And then I'm going to go back over and kind of dab over any areas that the paint has pooled to make sure I don't lose any of the texture. Alright, once that's dry, I'm going to take a couple of other paints, like raw sienna, and just kind of pick out a few bricks at random to kind of be an extra additional color. This will add a lot of life to the piece and kind of break up the monotony of the continuous gray. Now, you don't want to go super crazy with these. I'm just kind of picking out a few here or there. If I pick out any of them on the top, I'm going to paint the entirety along the top, as well as flip the whole piece around and paint the other side. Now the key is to make it random, just to kind of break up the, I guess you could call, sameness of all of the gray. Alright, and then to add a little bit of extra color, we're going to use some warm gray, and this is going to pick out a few extra bricks as well. Now, I picked these two colors at random. You can use kind of any color you want. Once you dry brush everything, it'll help tie all the colors together. The important thing is to kind of pick one color to be the dominant one to be the non-dominant one, so that you have a little bit more of one, a little bit less of another. And I'm kind of placing these anywhere that I think there's a little bit too much gray and could be a little bit extra color. And once you're done, don't forget to go back with a little bit of gray to touch up any areas that you have paint spilled over. Alright, once everything is dry, we're going to use a little bit of neutral gray and do a kind of light to medium dry brush over everything to give everything a nice aged, weathered appearance. And this will do a lot to tie all the colors together and give a very nice finish to the piece. Alright, so now we're going to paint the capstone ornaments with a little bit of bronze. Now I want these to be nice and shiny, like they are some kind of decorative piece for like a cemetery or roadside pillar or something like that. So I'm doing a single coat, and then once that dries, I'm going to go over it with another coat just to give it a little bit of extra shine. And now to create a little bit of extra flair for the walls, we're going to craft some spikes using these cocktail skewers that I found on Amazon. I bought a pack of 200 and ended up using half of them for this application. So, first thing I did was created a gray base coat so that the rest of the paint would actually stick to them. Once that was dry, I did 2 layers of bronze, just like I did with the capstone ornaments. It gives it a very nice shine and will help tie it in with the rest of the wall. Okay, so now to fit everything into place, I'm going to use a pin drill to just kind of drill a pilot hole in between each of the bricks on the top of the wall. And this is going to go as centered as I can and just kind of lined up as best as I can in a straight line. Alright, so now that that's done, we can start gluing all of our spikes into place. Now again, using some wood glue, I'm going to dip the end of the spike in the glue and then just kind of press it into the pilot hole. Now this glue is nice because even if it goes on a little thick, it will shrink down a little bit when it dries, and it'll also end up drying clear. So we don't have to worry too much about going back in and repainting or anything like that. But once all these are glued in, I do go and just kind of very carefully wipe away some of the large pools of glue with a toothpick, just to make sure that there aren't massive blobs of them sticking out of the top of the wall. Alright, and then to finish everything off, we need to apply a little bit of ground texture. Now, here I'm painting it on with a brush. I actually realized after filming this that there's a much easier way, and that's just kind of doing a line of paint along the bottom edge and then brushing it flat, kind Kind of wish I had thought of that while I was filming. But live, learn, and then do better in the next project. So once the glue is in place, we just add a little bit of sand, let it dry for a few minutes, and then tap off the excess, and there we go. Nice finished wall. Alright, so these can be used in a lot of different applications. Here I've got them set up to kind of frame out a quick little cemetery or graveyard. You can also use them to kind of be the fence or wall border for a road. Maybe you've got a battle scene or a scenic narrative for your players to go through that happens to be on a highway. Either way, this is a lot of fun to do, and because they're modular, they've got a lot of applications. Alright everyone, so thank you for watching. Please hit that like button, subscribe for future content, comment in the comments section, and we will see everyone next episode.